Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For this video, we're going to be discussing the 1943 horror film Son of Dracula, starring Lon Chaney Jr. Of course, it is the third film in the Dracula series, and then I saw Bela Lugosi as Dracula, because of course we all know the original 1931 version, he gets killed in the end. So, for some reason, this movie is part of the second cycle of the Universal horror films, horror cycle. And so what they do is they're trying to think of some creative way to bring back some of the movie monsters. And of course, Dracula is one of them. But fortunately, it didn't allow Bela Lugosi to reprise his role, which he wouldn't do until the classic Abbott Costello film Abbott Costello and Frankenstein. That's when Bela Lugosi came back and reprised his role as Dracula. But now they hire other actors to play Dracula. It was all be John Carradine, who played the part in 2 movies. But as for this video is Son of Dracula. I was Son of Frankenstein. This is what we're doing is the Son of Dracula, and of course Lon Chaney Jr. plays the part of Dracula. And which is the interesting thing about Lon Chaney Jr. is that he played, even though his father, Lon Chaney Sr., was known as the Man of 1,000 Faces, because he played the Phantom of the Opera, he played Hunchback of Notre Dame during the silent film era, and his son, took up the mantle of being a horror icon. And even though Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff like up here, Lon Chaney Jr. is like down here, unfortunately. But the thing that Lon Chaney Jr. has on top of Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi is that Lon Chaney Jr. has played 4 of the classic monster characters. He played, of course, in this movie he played Dracula. He also played Wolfman, which is the most famous role, is playing the Wolfman, which he done so the most times. He also played the Mummy in 2 movies, and he also played the Frankenstein monster in at least 1 film. So he played all 4 of the classic monster icons. And of course, this movie, The Son of Dracula, it really doesn't do anything in terms of the actual Dracula canon that much. But Son of Frankenstein, which I referenced earlier, did more for the Frankenstein canon than Son of Dracula did. Well, this movie, Dracula comes back and starts to move once again, trying to get a new bride. And he has a new love triangle going on with another guy. Or at least the woman that Dracula wants to make her another new bride, she's involved with another guy. And so what happens is that the woman involved, Dracula is pretty much like a second banana in this film, the main love story here. But the woman in this movie who was being seduced by Dracula, she is involved with the occult and says, "Oh, I'm trying to make Dracula make me into a vampire and become a vampire, and then try to seduce my fiance, make him a vampire, so the 2 of us could live forever." And that's and she actually mentions this in the movie, and so what happens is she actually does get killed. Inadvertently gets killed by her fiance, because her fiance figures out that Count Alucard, which is of course is Dracula backwards, is actually Count Dracula. So she tries to kill Dracula. Actually, you can't kill him with a bullet. You have to stab him with a stake through the heart. So the bullets actually pass through Lon Chaney Jr. and into the girl. So the girl dies. But what you don't see in this movie, which of course is impossible to figure out, that Dracula actually brought her back to life. Sucks her blood, transforms her into a vampire. But unfortunately, by the end of the movie, the guy or the guy, love interest, does kill off Dracula. Spoiler for those of you who did see this movie. Dracula does get killed, and so what the guy does is that he burns his fiance. The only thing he can do is cremate her body. It's the only way to save to quote save her is to kill her, the cremator, and which is a new way of, instead of stabbing her through the heart with a stake, you cremate her. And that's what the guy does in the end of the movie. And then the guy, the fiance, he ends up dying in the end of this, in the end of this movie. But so major spoiler. It does give away the whole movie in less than 6 minutes. But this movie, it was interesting, but it seems to me almost like a rehash of the original Dracula film. That's why I got out of it. But fortunately, it's like I said earlier, it's Lon Chaney Jr. playing the part and not Bela Lugosi, and so you get gypped out of that. You don't have any iconic lines like "I never drink wine" or naturally there's no Renfield in this thing. There's no crazy character. I mean, all the characters I felt were kind of smart in this movie. You can argue that the girl, the love interest, the girl, she was a little bit out there. For my taste, a little. I try to speak over the silence going on here. She was a little bit out there for my taste, but excuse the pun of me using the word taste, but it was a little fun. I mean, it's not the greatest horror film. I'd rather watch the original Dracula. It was more entertaining, and to see Bela Lugosi in the most iconic role, it's 10 times better than watching this thing. But it is interesting to see Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance in this one. He plays it more like a straight role, more of a straight character. I like when he plays, in the Wolfman movies, he's more sympathetic. This time he's not sympathetic in this movie. I mean, I don't want to say he was over the top, but it just plays it so straightforward and everything else. You watch the movie, you see what I'm talking about. Compare his performance in Son of Dracula and the Wolfman movies. He played more. He does not play sympathetic at all in this film. He just plays like an obsessive guy wanting to get this one girl, and who he does, marry in this movie. They go to the justice at the peace like in the middle of the night, and they get married at one point before all the more crazy stuff happens in this movie. But I feel this movie, and you do have a guy who kind of acts like Van Helsing, but he's not Van Helsing. It's another. It's called something else in the movie. He kind of acts like Van Helsing in this movie, and it's just real crazy, real silly film. But if you like Universal horror films like I do, please check it out, and you can see Lon Chaney's take on the role. So that's my review of the movie Son of Dracula. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com. That's OWDY. rallyc.com. That's the homepage of my reviewer. Christine Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.